Hi, you know, really welcome to my channel. This is YouTube Can Be Great. I'm thinking about changing my name to YouTube TV or use something else, try and beat this whole algorithm situation with YouTube, make a fresh start, maybe start editing it a little bit better. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm thinking about a name change, but if you have any suggestions, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. But this is the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 14, episode 3 review, and oh my God. The episode was just so good. I don't know between the Real Housewives of Atlanta and Bad Boys LA, which one really got me going. Jocelyn's Cabaret was just a ratchet mess. But between Bad Boys LA and this one that both did tonight, I was getting all my life with this. Just the mess was just so entertaining. Moving forward, I'm gonna watch my mouth because apparently you can't be cussing like that anymore. So I'm gonna be watching it. But let's get into this review. So we have Kenya now planning Brooklyn's 3rd birthday party. And y'all remember Brooklyn. Brooklyn was the buffalo that Nene Leakes told Kenya that she was carrying in her stomach, right? So we now flash forward 3 years later, Brooklyn is turning 3 years old. Now here's the thing about the situation. When I talk about Kenya, when I talk about Sheree, when I talk about Kandi, all of them, I'm gonna be shading every single one of them every now and then. I don't have any preference for Kenya. I don't have any preference for Sheree. I don't have any preference for Kandi. I don't have any preference to anybody, Drew, whatever. So if you're a Kenya fan and you don't like me shading people, I'm so sorry. But I'm gonna shade her as well as everybody else when I get a chance. That's just how it's gonna be. But Kenya and her buffalo is no longer, she's not carrying the buffalo no more. Her and Mark, are now on the divorce stage. Mark and her have come to a physical custody agreement where she gets to keep Brooklyn physical custody, and that Mark has no restrictions to where he can visit his daughter so far as he comes to Atlanta. Also, Mark is currently paying child support. Now, the issue with the whole situation of divorce is that Mark is not signing the divorce paper because now he's probably going to want spousal support. We already know that we saw some commentary and everything online saying that Mark also wants a piece of that house that Kenya built, Botland built from the ground up before she even married him. And I bet she probably wants, he wants dibs on her retirement too. He wants dibs on her kidney. He wants dibs on everything, even though he was only married to her nothing but a minute, and the entire marriage, he put her through hell. Now, initially, Kenya was all support for her husband. She even went off on Bravo saying that this is why her husband don't want to be on camera because he's sick of this. He's tired of this mess. He's tired of this ish. But then we're sitting here watching this whole situation, and Brooklyn is turning 3 years old, and that marriage didn't even last up to 3 years. That marriage lasted maybe 6 months at best, and he was in New York half the time. So now that she's planning Brooklyn's birthday party, he's not even part of it. He's not there to plan it. He's not going to put anything in. The party is supposed to cost approximately 10 to 15K to do, and she's going to pay out of her pocket and hope to God that he's not going to come back wanting half of that money to be sent to him because, like he said, if she takes everything, he'll build it back up. But somehow during this divorce, he's trying to take everything from her. So I'm a little bit confused about Mark and what he's trying to do and what his motives are. Mark seems a little crazy to me. And I know that he's been married multiple times. And I low-key feel like Kenya married him real quickly, as quickly as she did, because she was pushing 50 and she wanted to have a baby so bad. And she knew her eggs were limited. And she wanted to go ahead and have Mark go down there and experience all those gray hairs that she got going on. So far as he put that baby in there, she didn't care. So that was the reason she forced it, and she wanted to do it the right way. But 3 years down the line, she's a single mom. Brooklyn is growing great. She's doing a great job as a mom. However, it's a broken situation, and they're still going through separation, and it's just not getting anywhere. It's something else going to keep coming up. I low-key feel like he's doing this so child support doesn't go up after the divorce is finalized. Maybe there's some stipulation that if something happens once the divorce is complete, maybe something negative would happen, or maybe he's trying to prolong the marriage or something like that so he can get more from her child. No, but all I'm saying is Mark is whack, and Kenya's birthday party she's having it themed tea party for Brooklyn, and it's supposed to be fun, so she's gonna be inviting the girls. Then we get to the next scene is with Sheree in the gym doing her squats, and she has a shirt saying joggers on it. And I'm thinking, Sheree, as perfect as your situations are and as much as you want to get to perfection when you do work on your businesses, we have been waiting for this joggers since before they let go Lisa Ray. I don't even want to go that far back. Not Lisa Ray. Lisa Wu or whatever. Not Lisa Wu. What's her name? Lisa something. But my point being is, Sheree has been on and off in Real Housewives for 14 seasons, and I do believe that she was talking about She by Sheree probably as early as, I don't know, season 5, season 6, but she was also raising her kids and financially supporting them, because we know that her ex-husband is a complete abusive deadbeat and wasn't doing anything. So I could see how her business, how her jogger line could take so long to come out, especially because she wasn't paying. She was paying for her, she bought some land and she was trying to build this beautiful house that she has now. But my point is, all those contractors that she didn't pay, she should have had some residual money to then start this line, and she hasn't yet. So she's now walking around with this shirt that says joggers on it, but there's no joggers line that we're actually going to be able to follow and buy anything. So I don't understand why she was doing that. What are you marketing? There's nothing active for you to be marketing. So that was my take on it. But here comes Marlo coming in. And Marlo's supposed to be working out with Sheree. Sheree invited her because Sheree always has a motive. Sheree is very intelligent, but she invites Marlo. And Marlo comes in dressed up, looking like she's trying to work out, but she wasn't trying to work out. She's coming there looking like she wants to be cute. They're looking at her. She's like, I'm just going to do this for a little bit. And the producers, as messy as they are timing her to see how long she actually takes to do anything that's workout worthy. 11 seconds was all she did. 11 seconds. That's all it took. But she sits down and she's now talking, and Sheree is now, Sheree's the bone carrier. So Sheree wants to download her a little bit on the tea that she brought back to Kenya last episode, or the episode before, when Marlo was doing her late archive spelled wrong party or debut. And she told Marlo that she did tell Kenya about the whole white refrigerator thing. And she did mention the car situation, her borrowing a car to Kenya. And I think Marlo kept continuing with the tea. She kept going, talking bad about Kenya. What she said about her. She mentioned the refrigerator, and she mentioned something that made me kind of question, this refrigerator thing that keeps coming up. I'm a little bit confused. I know that somebody in my comments said, what's wrong with the right refrigerator? I said, what's wrong with it? The Marlo is all about material things. She's all about material things, and she screams gold digger, and she owns her title. You know what I'm saying? She's gold digging, and that's why she's not married at the age that she's in, because she dated a billionaire. He didn't want to wife her because he probably knew that she was dipping into his pockets too much, and she's probably trying to look for whoever escort she can escort to the bank. So it's all about material things to her. We already know that. So right refrigerators, ain't nothing wrong with it. Whatever you can do to provide for your family is what you can do. It is what it is. But in this exercising thing that she was doing, we got Sheree squatting for Tyrone when she finally gets to get some. Then we got Marlo, who's not squatting for nothing. She just squat enough to find her seat. But we know that Marlo doesn't want to work out. Marlo had lipo. Was it last season? She had lipo. She does not want to work out. She wants to have somebody suck that out, and she wants to now do a calorie deficit and not eat properly to keep the weight off. She ain't finna work out. She don't want to. Then we have them talking about Marlo acting. And Marlo, I did not see Marlo as an actor. I have never seen her in anything. I don't know why acting is like the fallback for everybody that, after they're done washing up their old age, they want to go act. No, Kandi's supposed to be looking to acting too. I mean, hell, but that's apparently what she says she's doing. She's, she said, check my IMDb, I'm acting. She got the acronym wrong, first of all. But as they're talking to her about it, she now mentions to Sheree that Kandi also told her about the assistant, Anthony, that Kandi is now, with her big mouth, spreading to everybody the tea that Drew gave her. See, Sheree made a good point. She said that Kandi would not appreciate it if people are walking around talking about her family, talking about her business. She doesn't want anybody talking about what she's doing behind, Kandi Code at night. She doesn't want to, Kandi's dungeon. She don't want nobody talking about her and Todd. She don't want nobody talking about what she's doing behind closed doors with the old lady gang, whatever. But she is the first person to go and spread businesses, people's rumors, even if she doesn't know that the rumors are not confirmed. So what it seems like to me is this. So Marlo is telling Sheree, yo, Kandi told me this about the Anthony assistant, saying that you ain't pay him, and that's why he left, but that you and Drew shared this assistant. And Sheree is already feeling some type of way, because now she needs to address Kandi, and Kandi running her mouth. And while this conversation is going on, Sheree's taking, Sheree's confessional is basically talking crap about Kandi. Marlo's eating up the tea. It's all good. But this is going to circle around when we get to the end of the review. So then we get to Kandi, right? Kandi sings, she dances, she has her own show with the Kandi and Old Lady Gang. They finally gave her one. She got restaurants, Blaze and the Old Lady Gang, and probably real estate. She got plays she got going on. Her and Todd have built several businesses together. However, now she's trying to build her acting career. Todd comes walking in, and I'm trying to figure out how Kandi has all this time to do this and still raise 2 young babies, because now they have a total of 4 children, with 2 being extremely young compared to the other adults. And Todd said, what I was thinking, you're busy doing all these things, but you don't have time to be a wife at home, because we only sexting maybe once, twice, if we're lucky 3 times in 1 week, which is like a dry spell for some. So you always seem to want to be pursuing another venture. A part of me feels like Kandi does that because she wants to continue having the status that she has, and because she knows that people do refer to her as having more money than Todd. In order for her to keep that money, she has to keep continuing making money. So Todd kind of falls by the wayside, and it almost seems like Kandi is always trying to keep up or make sure that she's always surpassing him in some way. And she's not really paying attention to him as much as she needs to. So Kandi brings up one of the projects that Todd did with a show or pilot that he's pitching right now that he got a contract for, waiting to see if they will accept it. Kandi brings up how he was working on that and he didn't want her to do much except write the song and stuff like that, or singing it, because she didn't feel like she was included. And Todd is saying, yo, I feel like we usually do things together and you're doing this by yourself, and I feel kind of left out, especially when you're not even being a wife to me. And Todd made a good point saying, yo, whenever we do stuff together, a lot of people, especially because your mama didn't run her mouth so much, he didn't say that part, but that's what I added. People don't see that I'm also doing things as much as you are. They don't give me the accolades that I deserve. So I just wanted one thing where it's just gonna be me, to where people can see me, because you just get every credit for everything, even if I'm there to help you, or if we're doing it as a team, even if it's 50-50. Nobody calls my name out. It's always Kandi this, Kandi that. And Kandi doesn't really do anything to quench that or to stop it. I remember when her mama was just talking reckless out her mouth and talking about Todd like he was just a piece of dirt and he ain't got nothing, making it seem like 6 figures is nothing. I understand wanting your daughter to marry equally financially, but sometimes in this economy, you know, a lot more men have a lot more money in certain industries than women. And Kandi happened to fall in love with the coworker, and Todd isn't broke. He didn't make as much money as she did, but he was in a 6-figure status. And for some people, that is somebody who's actually built something for themselves. 6 figures, I didn't know 6 figures were bad. I know that rappers talk about we want 7 figures and 8 figures and 9 figures, whatever the hell you can get up to. But at the end of the day, there is nothing wrong with somebody who makes 6 figures. It's still enough for him to buy a house, a very decent house, in some areas, a mansion, be able to support an entire family, pay whatever he needs to pay, and then he can build from there. But she made him seem like, she called him a lemon. And she said that Kandi took a lemon and made lemonade like he was some trash she picked up the street. So I understand Todd feeling some type of way because that image stuck. And now every time they do stuff together, it's all Kandi, Kandi, Kandi. I don't see the love between the two of them. I don't see the affection between the two of them. Every time I see them, he's trying to do something, she's trying to do something. There's almost like, are you guys competing to see who can outdo what? Like, there's no love. Where's that romance that we saw in the beginning where you were like, you know, when Marlo was calling you a sugar mama? Where was that love that we saw when you guys were making out and having, you know, a little personal time in a hot tub? You know what I'm saying? Where was all that? I know that they were having this argument in front of one of the guys that Kandi was talking to on video about the New York play that's coming up that she invited the girls to. And Todd asked him, yo, you know what I mean when I'm discussing this, right? And the guy was very, very strategic. He said what I would say. You made your point quite clear. When he said that, I was like, you would be a good House Speaker. Not necessarily just House Speaker. You would be a good press secretary because you are very good with your wits, okay? And you know what's appropriate to say. You don't get it between a married couple's fight, okay? You plead the fifth or you do what he says. There's 2 sides to consider in this situation. I think you both made your points quite clear. That's the best I'm gonna say. Then they ironed this out, and Kandi kind of she doesn't really acknowledge where Todd's coming from, because in this situation, I think I would take more of Todd's side than Kandi's, because Kandi, I remember when she didn't check her mama. So I can't see her checking people when they're giving her credit for stuff that Todd does. It just seems to be a pattern with her. Then we have Drew and Anthony, right? Anthony wanted his 5 minutes of camera time, so he was gonna get it one way or another. All right, so what he did was, he now had, they're in the freaking store shopping for Brooklyn's birthday gift. Drew and Kenya are working towards building a better relationship. I'm happy for them, but it's still side shade. So they're in the store, and Drew is talking to Anthony about the whole Sheree situation, because that's the only thing that Anthony can be useful for. And Drew's grasping for several storylines. If she's not being gaslighted or being disrespected by Ralph, her husband, she wants to now talk crap about somebody else with Anthony, because misery loves company. So Anthony, who's gonna make sure that he feeds into this because he wants his camera time, he wants to make sure that people can see his face, is gonna give all the tea, whether it's true or not. He says that he was Sheree's assistant, and while he was Sheree's assistant, there was a vendor that didn't want to work with her, probably while they were building her house, because she owed him $25K, and she didn't want to make her payment. And so the freaking producers, whatever, they edit the scene so we can see several magazines, I guess Twitter feed or whatever, that came up with people trying to sue Sheree for not paying her bills. And so they're talking about it, and Anthony's like, I got some gas to pay, I got bills to pay, and they don't even care about nothing but a credit card swipe. So she had to pay me, otherwise I had to say, you know what, even though I love you and I'm close to you and I like you, but I gotta just go on, girl, you ain't paying me. So I'm not going to be with you. I'm going to go to Drew and have Ralph pay me, because you need help. She needs help. She needs a companion. She needs someone, because Ralph is not giving her any love. So he's sitting here saying this. Now, here's the thing about it, is that Drew is making sure to have this discussion on camera. And while she's saying that, she now goes in the confessional and says, Sheree, you need to pay people, girl, even though there isn't really any receipts to corroborate what Anthony is saying. There's several incidences in the past that I can acknowledge, yes. But this current situation, he's your assistant. I think that if he was working for Sheree legally, he could sue her and say that he was basically doing slave work, because I was working for somebody, I'm her assistant, and she ain't pay me. I could have sued her. I could have gone and filed something. The fact that it's just gossip also, has a lot of red flags. But Drew's a little dingy, so she'll believe whatever you say, because she believes everything Ralph says, even though everything that he's saying to us, as we're perceiving it, just sounds insane and crazy and even non-believable. Then we get to her getting a phone call to Sonya. Sonya calls, and Sonya basically says that an 18-wheeler ran her car through, and this fool probably was drunk or fell asleep at the wheel, did not feel the need to stop. He dragged the 18-wheeler, dragged her and the car, and she had freaked out, panicked. We found out later that her husband was in, I think in Texas or something, rebuilding the company. They have a chauffeur business, so he wasn't really there to help support her. She just called him frantic, and she needed help. And because Drew and her are friends, she called Drew. Drew hopped in the car real quick with Anthony, like a good friend was, and went to pick her up, and also went to pick her baby Deuce up. So that was good to see. Then we get to Brooklyn's tea party, and the mess begins. Okay, it's a princess party. First of all, everybody was late. That was the fanciest 3-year-old birthday party I've ever seen. I wouldn't say ever seen. I've seen it in a long time. It was nicely decorated, but it looked like it was for grown folks and not necessarily just for a 3-year-old. Okay, there was no bouncers. I didn't see no bouncers. I didn't see no clowns. I didn't see any face painters. I didn't see anything. It just seems like too elegant for kids to come and mess up, especially at that age. You just want kids to run around and make a mess and run amok, right? But everybody was an hour late, and I'm like, how are you guys late to a birthday party? When you plan kids' birthday parties at the venues, there's a time limit. You have 4 hours, this time to this time, and you're done. It doesn't matter if people show up or not, you're done. So they come walking in late, an hour late. Sheree's first late, right? Sheree comes in, and Kenya basically brings up the whole assistant situation. Sheree is already boiling inside. She wants to address Drew first, unload on her. Then she wants to address Kandi next and unload on her. But Kenya, after bringing it up, tells her, maybe you should wait till after people have drinks, before you bring this up, because I don't want nobody running up out of here before they can actually stay here until Brooklyn actually makes her debut in her show, right? So then in comes the rest. We got Sonya coming in with Deuce. We got Marietta, Neo's ex, coming in with the baby. We got Drew showing up with some cute babies as well. We got, there's a lot of cute babies that came in, and Drew came in wearing the same outfit that Kenya wore a couple years ago at another event, except hers was colored white. Kenya was my spirit. Did she Google me or contact my stylist to get the same outfit? Is there some envy there? I don't know. But I know that Drew came in wearing that outfit, and she's trying. Last season, I know that there was a lot of issues with her style and her hair and her wig and everything that she put together, right? This season, she's trying. And I know she's making an effort, especially after the weight loss thing that she went through. She's trying. That's all I can say about her. Then we get to, what time is it? It's almost time for me to go to bed. I got to work tomorrow. So Kandi walks in later than anybody. She comes in and she has Blaze, and she has her son, Todd's baby. I keep forgetting his name coming in. And she comes in super late. And then she gives this long excuse about how her assistant told her that she's supposed to be ready at 12:45. And then when she finally got ready, then Blaze had to take a nap and da-da-da. Kenya was my spirit child. I don't want to hear your excuses. This is a baby's birthday party. You had time. Because Kandi will walk in late but stay to eat the food. Okay? So they're sitting there, you know, while this is going on, then Brooklyn makes her entrance, whatever. Actually, no. Prior to Kenya addressing Kandi, Kandi came in. People thought that she came in right when Brooklyn was supposed to come show up. And they were all waiting to do the whole surprise birthday, you know, shout out. And so she had to scoot on down the corner. And then Kandi comes walking in with her babe, with Brooklyn's cute self, enjoying the birthday party. Brooklyn is very much adorable. All the shade I can give Kenya, I can all at once. But one thing I can say so far, she's been a good mom. That's the one thing I can't shade her for, and that's good. So then Kenya decides that she wants to have everybody write some kind of fun shade and put it up in a box, but don't write their name on it. Or put it up in something. I'm just like, Kenya, she got to make her Real Housewife coins. We all know that. She has to make those coins. One way or another, she got to make those damn coins. But at the end of the day, the coins that she's making comes at a price. This is your daughter's 3rd birthday party, and you want to have the mess already? But they did it anyway because they want to follow the birthday planner's instructions. So then they sit down and the fun tea shady situation begins. They ask a few questions regarding to Brooklyn, you know, when did she start walking, things like that, when did she start talking, to see who's gonna win, because this is information about Brooklyn. The kids are on the corner playing. Deuce, Sonya's baby, is not having it. He was very honest. I don't want to be good today. I don't want to play today. I will be the odd one out. Don't matter. But when she said, let me call your daddy, he said, no. I felt that in my soul, okay? I remember when I got into a car accident after sneaking out the house and going somewhere I wasn't supposed to be. And the person said, do you want me to call the cops or call your parents? I said, call the cops. Child, don't even call my father out. Take me to jail, okay? That was a safer place for me to be than to be in my father's face right now. But it was cute watching him say, no, don't call daddy. But then we get to the fun shade, and somebody put inside the box, Kandi sucked in a locker room. This is a 3-year-old's birthday party, and somebody put that in the box. And Kenya was the first person to say it wasn't me. Who would I think would put something like that in the box? Is either Sheree, who would put it in there, but Sheree went in the confessional saying that she didn't do it. But why would Kandi be upset? Because it's not like she ain't done it before. She already did that everywhere else, like shading her, right? If I was to guess, the only person who seems to have a really big issue with her right now is Kandi. So I'm thinking it was Sheree who did that, to try and embarrass her, because she feels like Kandi tried to embarrass her by bringing up the assistant situation and her not paying him, or at least spreading that information is what I'm saying. Who else would be next? I don't think Drew will put that in there. I think the other person that will be left aside of Sheree will Marlo. Marlo may have put that in there because, you know, I mean, Marlo and Kandi have had a few-ish, but that's it. I can't think of anybody else that would put it in there, because Kandi sure did want to know who wrote that about her. Like, who would put that in there is so mean. This is a kid's birthday party. They're having conversations, and of course, Kenya brings up the whole Marlo event, like archive, and Marlo making comments about her borrowing a Range Rover. And she looked at Marlo and said, but you drive a used Rolls Royce. First of all, I want to use Rolls Royce, okay? Because anything's better than nothing. I don't know how somebody can complain about somebody using a used Rolls Royce. Those cars are extremely expensive. It don't matter if it's used. It's like somebody coming up to me and says, oh my gosh, you drive a used Porsche, a used Maserati, a used Bentley, child. At least I drive a Bentley. That's how I feel, because those cars are not cheap. But again, material things are what matters to Marlo. So when Kenya said that, Marlo was shooketh. She was like, how dare you say that? Because I would never drive a used Rolls Royce. That's a lie. Mine is brand new. Waste of money, but hell, she has it, she has it. Then they start arguing. And one of the white moms gets up and she's ready to drag her child out of there. This is a kid's birthday party. For God's sake, why would you guys do such a thing? And Marlo's in the corner like, you better not invite your white friends to here. Not you, white girl. Not you, because you know how to behave. You know when you get a bunch of females together, it's a home hot mess. I don't know why this heifer's acting brand new, like she ain't never seen something like this before. She's doing for the camera, because don't you be inviting your white friends to this if they can't handle the heat. The kids ain't hearing none of this conversation. They're in the corner playing. What you trying to do is just get some camera time, because you know it's rolling. This is a kid's birthday party, child. You did worse. You have done worse. Calm down. It ain't that deep. Okay? It's like some white folks that I know watching black people argue or fight, and they'll be like, oh, Violence is never the answer. It's just never the answer. But then 2 seconds later, you see them doing some caring stuff in the corner. Girl, bye. But Kenya had to go and make her feel better. Yeah, it was a kid's 3rd birthday party. And yes, I don't think Kenya should be playing this game at all, but she needed to just chill. She was the only one. Everybody else was sitting up here tolerating it. So can you. And if you were going to leave, you could have done it quietly. Okay? I'm not trying to get somebody to pay attention to you. Then, they decide to squash that conversation a little bit. Then they get to the next pull. The next pull is what Drew put in the box. Again, saying Sheree don't pay their assistant. And of course, Sheree's gonna take it as shade. First of all, if Drew is like, don't shoot the messenger, this is what I heard, don't shoot the messenger. Well, if you're trying to give her a message and you're trying to give her a heads up, or you're trying to say something that was considerate of her feelings, you wouldn't have done it in such a messy way. Okay, you could have picked another shade to put in there, but you now in front of complete strangers announcing as if Sheree don't pay her bills. Now I know Sheree don't pay her bills, but you ain't got to announce it, Drew, and expect Sheree not come for you. So Sheree is looking at her like, why would you even say something like that? Because Anthony wasn't even my assistant in the first place. He had to be my assistant for me to pay him. He wasn't my assistant, and we find out from another extra in the party, because that person decides to address Drew. Anthony's messy. You need to worry about what Anthony's telling Sheree and everybody else in the streets about you and your marriage, because we heard from him that Ralph is gay. I said, pause. Ma'am, can you repeat that one more time? Ma'am, please. Can you repeat that one more time? The man who's gaslighting her, who abandoned her and left the entire state for days and has still yet to tell us what he was doing. We know he was cheating, but he does not tell us who exactly he was cheating with. We are now hearing that he could potentially like men, even though he's married to a woman. Is it possible that he's bisexual? Is it possible that he may just be fluid? Even still, can you let us know particularly where Anthony got that tea from? Was he making a pass at him? Why would he make the assumption that Ralph may be gay? Tell us more. But of course, Drew's thrown. You know, she's thrown. So she turns to her and she wants to now deflect. Don't you ever bring my husband up into this situation, child. You brought Anthony into the conversation. When she brought Anthony up, everything that Anthony said was fair game. Not just what Anthony said about Sheree. And we find out that Sheree heard this from Anthony, but she was smart enough not to respond and not to spread that rumor. But you, as dingy as you are, because you want to make sure you have a storyline, you want to make sure you have something to say, pick the wrong one, child, because everybody knows we don't check Sheree. Sheree is the queen of reads, and she will read you for what she go, who gonna check me, boo? Okay, who gonna check me? Because I'm gonna make sure I will read you for filth and make you go back to church, child. You better not start with me. So of course, everybody's telling Drew, I don't know why you're so mad at Sheree or coming at her the way she is, or, you're basically mentioning to her about what Anthony said about her not paying her bills, when this lady just said that Anthony's running around telling everybody around town that your husband is actually gay. That to me is more crazier than what Sheree said. But Drew doesn't want to address that. Instead, Drew said, I didn't hear that part, but okay, I'll put him on probation. I beg your pardon? If my assistant is walking around town in Atlanta, for all places, y'all know what happens in Atlanta, telling everybody that Ralph is potentially gay, he will not be on probation. I will kick him out the door and I will not pay him. So you can go and tell everybody else that there was some other person you work for that didn't pay you. So that way they can know that you're just not the person that people need to be paying. You talk too much. You don't deserve to be paid. But Anthony has a mouth. And I think Drew should have been smarter. If Anthony is running around talking about Sheree's personal business, or what he thinks are Sheree's personal business to Drew, what makes you think that he's not talking about yours elsewhere? Somebody who gossips to you, there's a perfect chance that they're gossiping about you to other people as well. Whether the gossip is good or bad, it's still gossip, right? So I don't know why she thought that she was out of the running. And it turns out that what he's saying about you is 10 times worse. And it's not just that Ralph is gay. He's also talking about your marriage, all the crazy stuff that we're seeing, everything that Ralph is doing to you, child. And I mean, the very fact that he just went, and they showed a scene where he went somewhere to have 2 Long Island iced tea or whatever, and they want to tell Drew where he was at. And she's over there wanting to cry again because she's feeling like he's playing her right underneath her eyes, and she's not having like exact proof. It's just that things that are leading towards her believing that he might be doing something wrong, but it's not quite clear to her because she's a little dingy. So everybody in this table are talking about it. Kenya said, you know what, Drew, you owe this lady who just brought this up to you an apology, because she was trying to help you out and basically let you know that Anthony is just messy in general. And she was like, well, I didn't hear her, but isn't that the same thing about Sheree coming at me? And I was like, oh my God, Drew boo, you're not helping your cause. You're looking worse. First, we had to sit through the last episode and watch Ralph make a fool out of you and just gaslight you left and right. Now we have to sit here and watch you make a fool out of yourself. It's just so difficult. I cannot help you, child. I cannot even support you. I cannot even defend you. You just keep putting your foot in your mouth in every possible way that you can think of. Slow down. I don't think there's any more space in there. Either Ralph is shoving his foot down your throat, or Sheree's doing it, or you just doing it yourself. You're embarrassing yourself, ma'am. It's not helping. And y'all, I know that her and Sheree are going at it through Twitter right now, but stop. I mean, Drew just keeps, it's just that her efforts to try and chase somebody always backfires. It just never lands properly. And I used to feel sorry for her. Now I just feel like you just deserve to be beat down. Maybe if you beat down enough, you learn. Some people need to learn from personal experiences, right? Then they finish and they all get up and they're like in a huddle, right? And Kandi is still salty. She wants to know who wrote about her in that little box. She wants to know who wrote something like that. But girl, you find out soon enough. It was Sheree or Marlo. You get them, you find out soon enough, or Bravo will tell us soon enough. But they're huddled, and Sheree is not trying to forgive Drew, because Drew's now trying to make it seem like, Sheree, you knew that Anthony was talking about my husband. You didn't even think to tell me. Sheree's like, you could have called me and told me about Anthony running his mouth about me. You chose to go to Kandi and everybody else in town that you could think of. You didn't even give me that courtesy. Drew goes, yeah, but not paying somebody is not as important as talking about somebody's husband. Girl, Sheree does not have a husband. She doesn't have to give you the same courtesy. She's not married. She hasn't been married. She's not dealing with that. She kept her mouth shut out of respect for you. That's the best she could do. You who are married has not learned that you don't run your mouth. So Sheree doesn't owe you nothing. So while they're just having this back and forth, Drew decides to talk with her mouth, or supposedly put her hand in Sheree's face. And they're not going back and forth, putting hands in each other's faces. And Sonya's like, I've never seen this side of Drew. Especially with her attacking Sheree. She don't know what she's doing. She's not being smart. She's not being wise. And I'm looking at her like, you're just dissy too. Are you sure this is the direction you want to go? You didn't lie to me about losing weight. You didn't lie to me about how much weight that you lost. You didn't lie to me about Ralph and how he treats you, and how he's over here sending very, very disrespectful text messages to your supposed assistant that's on Instagram talking crap about you. You didn't got a current assistant right now that's also running around telling people in town that your husband is gay, and you're gonna put your hands in front of Sheree's face. Child, I don't know who you are. Sonya, that's the face you should look like. And of course, Kenya's like, please, let's not do this here. We're done. Kandi wants to make sure everybody's gonna come to her play next week. They're good to come, whatever the case is, to travel to New York and watch the play. They all agree to do it. Kandi's still gonna fish for whoever said that about her. And then the episode ends. This episode had a lot of juice, had a lot of tea, and I was happy for it, okay, because it was very, very entertaining. But I think Drew just opened up Pandora's box, because now that she made Sheree her target, Sheree is going to read her for filth. Sheree is going to break her down. There's only a couple people I feel like could actually take Sheree in a read. I think that Kenya can take Sheree in a read. I think that Nene may be able to handle Sheree in a read. Hell, even Cynthia and her, she comes out every now and then. She shows up in her read. She may be able to handle her. Kandi may be able to handle her, but Drew, I just don't think you're ready. I don't think that you understand what you just did. I just don't know what I don't think you grasped what you just did, but you're gonna find out soon enough. You will. And I think that it will be humbling for you to find out who you can and cannot. Maybe you could take notes when Sheree reads you down and breaks you down and cuts you to white with her words. Take that and do the same thing to Ralph, because he needs to be knocked down a peg the way he treats you. Anyway, that's the rest of this episode, and that's the review. Please like, subscribe, and notification bell. Let me know what you think about this episode. How did y'all feel about it? Did you enjoy it? Because I was living life. Tomorrow, I'm going to do the Bad Boys LA one, because now I'm going to take a break. It's almost 11, but y'all look out for that one as well. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.